Hey YouTube, this is Sean, Griffin RC Planes. Well, I hope everybody had a good weekend. I hope you were able to go out and fly if the weather was permitting. Instead of us continuing on with our Uproar little build series, I kind of want to recap what we've done so far and go over a few questions that were left in the comment section. And then the next video will be the finish of the UMX Turbo Timber, how we replaced the servo in the wing. Alrighty, one of the questions, or comments rather, I got was people who commented about how the elevators were uneven in one of the pictures. And that's because these are, it's one elevator, but these two halves are not connected. Some planes have a way to connect them where one servo could operate both halves. This one has two separate push rods, and it'll have two connection points right here. And then in the front, I'll show you where both push rods will come together and one servo will operate it. Alright, so this is simulating the back half of the plane. And these are each connection point that'll go on each half of the elevator. And then we have the push rods coming. Both of them are coming back, and it comes to this awesome little thing that I've never seen before. But this comes in with the kit in the bags of all the hardware. But you can see it has 3 Allen grub screws in this little plastic connection point, and the servo will be up here in the front, and it's going to run both of these push rods just like this. This is my Tower Hobbies Edge 540, and you can see where this servo right here is running both push rods, and this is how I connected them. And a lot of setups, that's what's included in the kits, and that's just how they have always, or not always, but that's how a lot are put together, where you got one controlling two. Now, to see that little block with the grub screws in it, connecting them all, that was genius. Really neat in my opinion. Some planes, have 2 servos for the elevators. And, that way you can really fine tune them and get your trims just right. This plane actually has room for another servo if you want to run dual servos for the elevators. And then I have the same kind of setup here for the rudder, and that was just the way I connected it, so I could get a certain bend that I needed. This could have been a solid rod, but I just did it that way, and I've had no problems with this setup. Nothing comes loose. There's absolutely no issues with it at all. All right, this is a little cover I made for this particular plane that lays over the top of that linkage, just so no wires get tangled in it. That's out of a Ziploc, out of a plastic little container that lunch meat comes in. Repurpose things if you can. I think, why not? It was available and lightweight, and I just cut it up, and that's where it's been ever since. Let me get this canopy back on here and get this out of our way. One other thing that was brought up was here on the bottom, I had to modify the hinge. The width of the hinge was, hopefully you can see it here, it was so big that after I cut a slot to slide this hinge in, there wasn't going to be much meat as far as wood on the top and the bottom of the section it slid into. I know this is tough to see, but from here to here is the width of the wood that this hinge needs to slide into, and it just wasn't going to work. So I ended up cutting a hinge a lot thinner to get the slide in there. And people were thinking that there wasn't going to be as much strength, and it was going to be off because the 3 of the hinges are this wide, and then I had one thin. No, they're absolutely fine. There's no problem at all by doing that. And then don't forget that the tail wheel is going to be mounted down here. Plus there's going to be some kind of hardware connecting the rudder to the tail wheel, to steer it. So there's no problem at all. What we did to the bottom hinge is perfect. It's fine. Quick, I took a black marker and made a mark on this hinge here. So maybe we can now see the width of it. Let me get you on in there real quick. So you can see the wood that we're dealing with. So that hinge was really big, so I cut one a little thinner, about like this. Yeah, maybe that helps you, maybe it don't. Another question I've been getting, is it going to be gas or glow? Neither. It's going to be electric. And people say, well, that plane, is not supposed to be electric. Well, this is version 2, V2. So it comes with all the necessary hardware for either a glow or small gas engine or electric. So we're going electric. And what we're going to use is a Spektrum 60 amp smart speed control. I don't use the smart batteries, so you may or may not notice that it's missing the middle lead that sees the data from the smart battery. The lead is still here. I just have it tucked under this heat shrink right here. If I ever wanted to use the smart battery, I can put this back exactly how it came. And then I'm going to use a AR631 receiver, 6 channel. These servos are 23 gram servos. They've got all the necessary ounces of torque needed for this plane. And the motor is a brushless OUTRUNNER, a 4250, 910 kV, and I'm going to run it with a 4S battery, probably a 3300 to 2800s, somewhere in there. I got to figure out what the CG is, after we get it built, and figure out, how much weight we can allow for the battery. But that's what we're going to go with. This motor also came, it's in a couple E-Flite planes. It comes in the, this one came out of a 300, which is my favorite planes. And so did these servos. But I also think this was in like the P48 and something else several years back. And then the new smart receivers that have been out for a little while. This is a smart receiver and a smart speed control. So that's what we're going to use for electronics. Just to run over what hardware came with it one last time, or one more time rather. So you can see it came with both landing gear wheels, plus the tail wheel, part of the tail wheel. That's where I'm talking about, is going to be connected to the rudder. Spinner, the landing gear, many bolts and screws, and all the control surface connection points, and then the fuel tank and the stopper and the clunk and the motor mounts if you were using a glow motor, and then the push rods, 2 for elevator, 1 for rudder. We got this on eBay. I got it listed for like $3. That's a good deal for somebody. So it comes with it comes with everything you need to do it with glow or electric. But it's got plenty of hardware. The tires, depending on the CG, they'll most likely get replaced. I'll put something a little bit softer, since unfortunately I only have asphalt to fly off of. I've never ever flown off of grass. Lucky enough that The airfield I fly at has asphalt and electricity, so I've never had to charge batteries and take them. I've never had to, use the cigarette lighter in the car, and I've never had to fly off of grass. So therefore, back to the wheels, these things are pretty dang hard. So we'll definitely get something a little bit softer. Well, maybe that cleared up a few things and got a couple questions answered. I'm going to get started on the UMX Turbo Timber, how we replaced the servo in it. I'm going to put the two fuselage halves back together and the wing on top of it. And alrighty, hey, until next time, you'll see me here. Don't forget, hit that like and subscribe and share it with your friends. Thank you.